Hi, I'm Carolyn Dunn, Executive Director of Stafford County Economic Development, here today with Inga Oyola, who is the artist that created this amazing mural over the last 6 weeks. We thought before she finishes up and leaves town, it would be a nice thing to just memorialize all of what has gone into this through some storytelling. Wanted to just kind of tell what led to this and how it is all developed. The lot that we're standing on here is at 2nd and Main in St. John. It was acquired by Stafford County Economic Development, I believe it was 2016, with the idea that we would be developing a building here. Shortly thereafter, we had an opportunity to acquire a different building already built that met our needs, and so this continued to be an open area. It was last fall, or late summer, when David Robinson came to us and had the idea to sponsor a mural on this wall. We are very interested in supporting those kinds of community development ideas, and we're very open to that, and also saw the opportunity to, because economic development is a 501c3 nonprofit, add to that by applying for grant funding from the Kansas Creative Arts Industry Commission. And so when we got approved for that grant, we were able to double the size of the project by also laying forth a plan for landscaping here. So last fall, with the idea that, again, we were working with Kansas Creative Arts Industry Commission, we put out a call for artists with a vision that was brought, again, by David and his involvement with the Church of Jesus Christ, which, if you know the history of St. John, those were the founders of the city, coming to this area in 1875 and looking upon this valley that is where St. John is located, and seeing the idea of a utopian community that they could create. In fact, part of that lore of that history and that story is that they prayed upon this area that no tornado will destroy, and we'll get into that's a part of what Inga has incorporated into the mural. But we basically kind of had that proposition that we'd like to create an image of what was happening when this town was founded, and Inga responded to the call for artists. We saw her kind of specialty in Western and wildlife art, and it was a great fit for the image that is here. And so maybe you can tell us a little bit about your background as a Western and wildlife artist.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Well, I've been doing murals since I was 4. Started off with crayons, but I've done a numerous amount of study on Western. I learned a lot. I'm working in the film industry. My father, probably a lot of folks know who my dad was, and learning a lot about the Westerns with the Santa Fe Trail, the Western Cattle Trail. I've learned quite a bit being on cattle trails and so on the West, and about wagons, and seeing hands-on details. And being a wildlife artist, I'm always doing study of wildlife and fish through the mountains of Oregon and Washington, California, Utah, Montana, and even on the East Coast doing quite a bit of fishing and hiking out in that area. I like putting realism in my artwork, and you'll find in my mural a lot of the wildlife, the plants, the different species of reptiles and insects, and different insects you'll find throughout the mural. They're a little hidden in there. Detail is extremely important, and the reason why I do this is especially for children to learn about wildlife and the different species of the plants and insects and reptiles, and kind of makes you feel like you're part of that mural when you're looking at it.
I think you made reference to having done work with the Santa Fe Trail historical. So some of this detail even comes from some of your knowledge of that history.
Correct.
That was correct for the period and this general area.
Right. I went to, Bent's Fort, Lerner Fort, and Union out in New Mexico, and learning a lot about the different areas. I did a whole series of the Santa Fe trail paintings. And, you know, it's important for people to feel like, you know, what was it like being on such a journey as this? And that's really important for what I do in my murals. So.
Excellent. Okay, so I think back to when our steering committee had some of the initial conversations with you, there was a lot of thought around the idea that those settlers saw the utopia of this area, and that how would that be portrayed? You talked about being able to represent light in your
Correct.
Your murals?
Right. Difficult to see here, but like within the sun in the far right corner of the mural, it's illuminating the light upon the different wagons and upon the faces of people and on the different, on the oxens. This, you know, is, you know, it's in the spring, summertime, and it gives warmth and feeling for people. And you'll see all the beautiful flowers and growth throughout the mural. And with the lighting, and actually the sun and the different lanterns actually illuminate at night, because there's a special paint that I had used for that.
There is a lot of detail in this photo. In this, in fact, I think I sometimes reflect on the idea of what time this has been while you have done this painting. For the last 6 weeks, we have been under stay-at-home orders in the state of Kansas because of coronavirus. Mm-hmm. But this is a project that you're very socially distanced while you're
Yes.
working, and so it was really a stroke of luck for St. John, I think, that this was the kind of work that could continue, and has been just, I think, very uplifting and just good for all of our morale to see. But you, with that, have taken, I think, some extra time to put a lot of detail into this. I don't even know how many animals or insects or even native grasses that you have specifically inserted in here to be not only correct for this area, but something that can be enjoyable to spend time looking and continuing to look at all the detail. Would you like to kind of go through the mural and point out some of the things that you have?
I could do that. Okay.
So I don't know what order you want to go in.
Well, if you want to start off to the right here, as you see here, you have the skull of a buffalo. And the buffaloes were quite a bit killed off, I understand, by that time of 1875. And with reptiles and so on and so forth, and plants, you know, here you have the rattlesnake, you have the prickly pear, cactus, you have a bobcat, you have chickadees, you have a crow. And if you look real close here, you'll see one of your local bugs right here. And little, you know, the turtles to the salamanders.
Is that the state reptile?
Correct,
Okay.
yeah. And so, you know, you look, as you go up and through here on the right side of the mural, you have a Native American. And during that time with the, you know, the buffalo and so on, they usually painted their ponies. And you'll see him waving to a gentleman off to the far left there. And above him, you'll see, and sometimes you have to look around, but you'll see that there's a coyote above him. And that coyote is going after a cottontail. And as you see, the beautiful bald eagle. And above there is that sky. It's just a really warm sky, and the sun that just really kind of illuminates the area. And of course there's a hidden mouse. So up there's a little mouse hiding on top of the this metal pillar here, which is one of the original, from the original building. I'm not sure on that date of that goes back quite a ways, but if you follow this all the way up, you'll find that little mouse up there. So So as you go through here, you'll see a set of trees in the very far horizon. Those trees, Mr. and Mrs. Mix, Larry and Carolyn had shown me the area where William Beckerton had planted trees when they first came out here. And those trees are still here. And so I put them as the smaller trees in the very far background. And there's some deer hidden in there. And then there's, I don't know if you can see, there's a road runner. There's a dog here, which is actually someone's local dog here in town. And as you follow up, you'll see a milking goat, which a lot of travelers would have to have some type of milk of some sort, for the children and for everybody, for the coffee too. That's important. And then below here you'll see that's actually Dave Robinson when he was younger with his brother holding a little kitten. Above there is their dad waving to the Native American. As you're following off here to the left, there is a badger kind of hidden into the ground there. Above there you see a burrowing owl. And with the wagons, I put some of the gear that they would probably have used back then. And the oxens. And of course, with this wagon is Carolyn's family. So Carolyn's there with her husband and her boys. And because those family units is what I was trying to bring out in this mural, that families were units and people worked together. And I think that's really important. As hard as it was being on these roads that they were creating, everyone worked as units and pulled together. And it was a hardship, but they did it. And you'll see here, this would be Carol Long's, granddaughter, Rowan, right? Mm-hmm. And this is a gal that was out of my head, but I guess she looks like somebody here locally.
I think she could pass for a couple of different people if we told them that.
But so, and then I always bring in the flowers and so on, because when, you can imagine yourself out on these trails, you're picking flowers, but a lot of these flowers that people are picking are actually plants that are used for medicines and so on, echinacea, so on and so forth. And then you find your little raccoon, and you'll find some more of the different cactuses, which are also was used for food, as we do today. They make great tacos. So you have your horned lizards, there's your morel mushrooms, there's tiny little insects throughout this mural. So that's a praying mantis. You see that guy? Yeah. Red-winged blackbird. And it's like it's like almost like a Finding Waldo type of thing. There's so many little things in this mural to find. And there's quail, and there's different little things throughout the mural.
I just noticed a brand.
Yep,
looking at it just now.
That's the Turner's brand on the oxens there. So this is the Turner family here, and this is their dog, Hollywood. And so as you look up, you'll see there's buffalo, which were in the past time, but I wanted to incorporate those into the mural because I think that's important, representing Kansas. And then there's Canadian goose, as you see up there, because I wanted a lot of motion and the different wildlife that was in here. I think that's important for a lot of folks.
The tornado up there?
Oh, of course. So I was requested to put a tornado someplace here in the mural because you can tell the story of this one.
Well, it's just the original settlers were reported to have made a prayer over this town that no tornado will destroy. Right. And here we are 150 years later, and no tornado so far. So it is a kind of a part of the local just like I said, lore, the history of it, and there's been a book that's
Right,
that
right.
was even entitled
Yeah.
that tells about the history of the town. So it's a nice thing to have incorporated into this mural in this part of the history too.
Good. Um, so I try to put little intricate details throughout the mural, from if it's details through, their boots to their faces are extremely important. And again, I'm working on a mortar surface, so I can't always get a real smooth surface. So I do my best to get details because eyes are really important.
Is it fair to say that you kind of approached this with the idea that you were going to put people in it,
Correct.
but using some photographs of people that really are connected to the town was a way of trying to personalize it and just kind of keep the interaction with this active in a way, the idea that people from town feel connected to this
Correct.
piece
Right.
of art.
Because this was from the past, but it's the present and it's the future, because all these children are our future. So I think that's really important. And again, there's insects and bugs and there's all these little things throughout this mural that it's so exciting to see these children every single day that I've been working here. Children will come down and point and saying, what did she do next? What did she do next? And they will try to find these. And it's so exciting. And they do out and go do chalk art over here and want to show me what they did. It's just so, this town is absolutely wonderful. Everybody I've met here are just wonderful people. So.
Well, we feel the same about you. Well, okay, so I know I don't want to miss any of the details. There's even another type of lizard.
So this is the blue tail skink, and then you have you have a bull snake. You have, again, there's little tiny little things, and if I pointed out every single one little thing, we'll be here for a while. But as you see here, this is Pam and Tom and their son Todd, and there's little details like in her little basket. What do you see in there? Little honeycombs.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So there's a lot of personalization with this mural. There's little honeycombs, little bees flying around it. And as you follow up, you'll see some pronghorn antelope. And as you go through the mural, you come into the next wagon with the lanterns. And this little girl here, for some reason, she reminds me of a little girl from Little House on the Prairie. And what was her name again?
Nellie?
Nellie. And she says, like, I bet it in my head. And this wonderful little boy, Dr. Rosenberg, that's his grandson, which is 2.5 years old. And it was a request.
Is this a good story to tell?
Yeah.
Did Dr. Rosenberg, there was a point when you needed a dentist during this, right? So you found Dr. Rosenberg over the weekend?
Right. Wonderful. I mean, unbelievable. It's like, what town in the United States would turn around and do this for me? I was so taken back that he would take me in at a last minute to fix a cracked tooth, and I was so thankful. And so I put his grandson up in the mural. So thank you. And so you have different types of lizards throughout the mural. And as you go through this, you'll see, a little bumblebee and more cactus in here. And they're blooming because it's life. It's a new beginning for all these people. And of course you have your little prairie dogs here. And I created the murals to break up this area on the paneling. And we'll talk about the paneling later. So again, you look throughout this whole mural of, the fox, and if you look really close on a lot of these, the people, the animals, even the insects, the eyes are extremely important to me because I always have the shining white light on their eyes. So, and let's see here, there's in the clouds, there's birds different birds flying in the very, very distance. And so let's see here. As you come up here, you see the mallards, and you'll see the crane that actually is up in the far left corner up here, and you follow through, and that is your Rattlesnake Creek.
Right.
And
it's recognizable for sure.
Carolyn and Larry Mix had brought me down there just to show me your creek out there, and so I got a nice visual of it, and so I can make sure that I'm doing the correct, the wading of that creek. Then you have your meadowlark, and then of course your sunflowers.
With another bee?
With another bumblebee. And then you have your prairie chicken, which is really important. And I mean, again, throughout you'll see all these flowers, and that's William Beckerton and his wife Dorothy. And as you see it in her basket, again, it's echinacea, which is very important. It's amazing how all these wonderful things are around us for our food and healing. So I want to kind of incorporate that within that mural. So any questions do you have?
Well, I think we've really gone through it. Yes, we do plan to put some panels here that provide some interpretation and some credit to the steering committee and those involved in planning this project. So that is yet to be completed, but they will go here in, I forget now, 6 or 7 panels.
Yeah, so however the panels are setting, I will put dividers, kind of give it a, breaking up the panels, determining on what size you're going to put in there. So
yeah, so excellent.
Yeah.
We are so proud of this and so thankful for your work, your talent, the heart you put into this.
Oh, you're so welcome.
We're just tickled pink, and thank you. I feel like we've also made a new friend along the way. You're always welcome back here.
Thank you. And you guys are my Kansas family.
Well, this has led to a couple of smaller projects here too. So your fingerprint is a little more than just this in town now, right?
Yeah.
So excellent.
Yeah, I met many, many wonderful people. So it's been a pleasure. So
well, thank you. It's been a pleasure for me as well.
Thank you very much. Okay.
All right.